Every morning at 5 a.m., my upstairs neighbor wakes up. Without missing a beat, as soon as the clock turns, I hear that same noise. Thump, thump, thump. I live in a block of studio apartments, so every noise passes through the walls. A normal person wouldn't have heard this noise, but I work night shifts. I usually get home just before 5, and just before I go to sleep, I hear that same noise. Thump, thump, thump. Sometimes, when I stay awake long enough, I hear some shuffling and the front door slams open and shut. It's almost become comforting, really, and sometimes I can't really fall asleep until I hear their footsteps, no matter how hard I try. I've never missed it once. It always happens when I'm home. Even if I get in just after 5, it'll happen as soon as I walk into my apartment. Thump, thump, thump. Then one night, it stopped. I remember it clearly. The day it stopped. I couldn't fall asleep for another hour. When I woke up, I was dazed, a little offbeat even. I couldn't say why. I moved from the building shortly after. Nicer apartment, you know, an upgrade. From that day on, there was no thump, thump, thump. Maybe some shuffling, but I can't remember now. Sometimes I think I was imagining things now. Wishful thinking, maybe. It's been hard to sleep since then. Just before I left, I started having nightmares. Super crazy stuff. I'm stuck in a room with this crying woman, covered in blood. Her hair is matted, and her sobs are broken and wrenching. There's no door, and I'm forced to sit on the other side of the room, trying to block her out. I wake up in a cold sweat, and it's morning. One night, the nightmare changes. I'm in the room again, and she's still crying. This time she stops. She stands up, her back faced me, and I see her, look at her over her shoulder. I'm frozen. I can't look away. Her body turns, her eyes still looking straight at me. Her body lurches forward, and I finally notice what she actually looks like. A torn and soiled old white t-shirt that envelops her short frame. Her legs and arms are swollen, bruised and cut, with splotches of yellow and blue. She can't weigh more than 100 pounds. She looked like a living skeleton, marching towards me in a slow limp. I was terrified, and I try to open my mouth to scream, and no noise comes out. She comes closer. Closer now. Closer. Almost touching me, and she falls. She hits the ground, and her hand is inches away from my leg. She raises a hand, caked fingernails and all, forms it into a small fist. She's still looking at me, shakingly. She brings it down to the floor, her knuckles about to tap the floor, and I wake up. It's been 3 months since I moved, and I turn on the TV to watch the news. Body of missing woman found in downtown apartment building. I'm here to warn you that the following information may be too graphic for some of our viewers. Sandra Cruz has been missing for 1 year until today. Her body was found in a studio apartment where she died from her injuries. The apartment was signed to an ex-boyfriend who abducted her from her family home months before her death. Her boyfriend locked her in from the outside and was only seen leaving the apartment once a day, at 5 a.m., where no one would notice him. I'm frozen. Police described the scene as gruesome. The wooden floors had been scratched and dented by her attempts to attract attention from the neighboring apartments. Her knuckles and fingernails were worn almost to the bone. I shut it off immediately. I go back into my bed, hoping to forget everything I just heard. Maybe I'm still dreaming. Maybe the nightmare hasn't stopped yet. As I close my eyes and settle in, I hear softly, thump, thump, thump.
Thank you for watching. I always appreciate the support you show me, and I'm forever grateful for it. Hope everyone had a wonderful day. All my social media information is in the description box below. All the story, music, and image information is below as well. And don't forget,